You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, This Week. Featuring news and commentary on This Week in Black Hollywood. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live This Week, Dario Kristen.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You're watching Black Hollywood Live This Week. I'm your host, Dario Kristen, and here joining me in the studio today in orange, or is that like a little red thing going on?
It's orange. Oh,
it's Courtney Stewart.
Hello, everybody.
And in a black and pink cap is DJ Jesse J.
What's up?
Yeah, we're trying to understand the mathematics on that hat.
The mathematics.
Yeah, what does that hat mean, if you guys can see this hat?
Shout out to mathematics.
All right, there you go. On today's show, we're going to cover a variety of different topics, including our recap of the Grammy weekend. Music legend Prince sues Facebook and then decides not to sue Facebook. We'll talk about that. And Scandal and Grey's Anatomy creator Shonda Rimes wins a diversity award, but is a little bit upset about that, which we'll get into details a little bit later. But first, I want to read the results from last week's buzzer meter question, which was, do you think Justin Bieber should be deported back to Canada? You guys voted. 29% of you said yes, and 71% of you said no.
Aww,
are you guys surprised by that?
I mean, no. Honestly, I thought about as the week progressed, I was sitting there like, was that kind of mean of us to put as a thing? No, obviously
I don't think
wasn't.
it was mean.
But I don't think he should be deported. I mean,
he hasn't done anything.
Doing everything that we've all done as Americans.
Yeah,
so
it's not that
he
deep.
actually fits in here in America.
He's just being
better.
a teenager.
He's just being a teen. Well, is he a teen though? Isn't he like 21 now?
No.
Leave Justin Bieber alone.
Well, you guys know also that his deportation petition went to the White House. Mm-hmm. And Jesse, you have like the 411 on that. What?
I mean, it ain't the 411, but they got enough people to sign this petition that now the White House actually has to take it seriously, look it over, and give their review as to if they're going to take it seriously or not.
That's ridiculous.
I think that's crazy.
That's sad.
I think it's a waste of time.
It is a big waste of time because if it's true, I mean, I don't know, the rumor, what I've heard is it was 100,000 signatures. And that's a lot of people, but not really in the like larger scale of life. And like, we got enough problems up in the White House. We don't need this. Saying. Anybody got time for that?
Yeah, did anyone watch the State of the Union, which is our buzzer meter question for today. Did you watch the State of the Union? You guys vote. We'll read those results next week.
And you can only answer yes or no.
And you can only answer yes or no or tweet us.
And tweet us what you thought of the State of the Union after you answer yes or no.
That's right. But before we start the trending topics, I want to remind you guys to go to iTunes, go to Black Hollywood Live. We have an assortment of different shows. We have The Beat, which Jesse hosts. We have Fashion 401, which Courtney's on. We have Portraits, which we all host as well. And about 7 different other shows. We want to see you guys vote and rate and comment because we pay attention to all that stuff to help us know what works for the shows and what we need to improve on. So please go to iTunes and give us a rating and comment because we do appreciate it. Yes, all right, on to trending topics. Jesse, what do you have?
Well, where to start? The Grammys were this weekend.
Yes, they were.
And everyone has just been screaming, ranting, and raving. There were some highlights of the Grammys, and there were some lowlights of the Grammys. Beyonce opened the show with Jay-Z, and there's been some controversy about, is Beyonce too sexy?
Is Beyonce a whore, as a UK newspaper printed?
They did put that, yeah.
Yep. One Twitter follower tweeted out, Beyonce can twerk and dance dirty on stage, but if Miley does it, she's such a horrible person. Everyone's upset. I forget the country singer. She walked out of the Grammys, not because of Beyonce, but because of the later on what we'll talk about, the whole gay marriage thing. She walked out. They just thought that this entire Grammys was blasphemous. It was just too much sex, too much the devil.
Wow. That
people just can't handle it. And I mean, even including Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer Hudson had some very interesting comments.
She sure did.
She said, girl, in reference to Beyonce, ooh, I can't, ooh. Singing about the same old thing in music is overrated. Sex, drinking, the club, okay, especially sex. Like, are we grown-ups? We ain't got over that? Like, really? Ain't you too old for that kind of thing? Can you talk about something else? I get annoyed with those things, but I can't answer the last question. Ooh, though I want to. And that was in reference to Beyonce's album.
You better watch those beehives, because Beehive's going to come after Jennifer.
They already
Hudson.
did.
She says, okay, I didn't like that, Jennifer Hudson.
I didn't either.
I try to like
some
you.
serious hateration.
But
Yeah.
I'm just in reference to what she said, all we were talking about is sex or whatever she said. Jennifer Hudson is technically, I mean, if she had a singing career, kind of, she's more of an actor kind of now. But I mean, I
Is
don't
that
know.
a read?
I'm just saying, I don't know, are y'all buying the albums?
No.
But anyway,
I hardly watch the videos.
she's
but
technically classified as an R&B singer.
she is.
R&B is about the loves and the sex, and it has been for years. So to say and I'm not saying that every single song you always have to do, and I'm not trying to say that I don't believe that we over-sexualize more than maybe we should, but to say that why she's singing about sex and why she's singing about love and that's the most ignorant thing I could have, especially coming from an R&B singer.
Yeah.
Because relationship, sex, all of that has always been an element.
Always.
Since the blues and
Yeah, when has it
that
not been
doesn't
a part
make
of
any
music?
sense.
Right.
It's a part of country
Yeah.
music. It's a part of all, it's.
But you know what the sad part is?
doesn't make any sense.
I really try to think of Jennifer Hudson songs to be like, well, girl, you talk about sex, but I couldn't.
She doesn't really talk about
The only one I know is that
Couldn't-
Spotlight
Spot-
song. I don't like.
You're right. She does not necessarily talk about sex in her music. But here's the thing. I think that the Grammys, I sort of appreciate the Grammys because I feel like they're taking a little bit more risk than what they used to. The Grammys for a while got so stale, and it just got so cookie cutter, especially compared to the other music television shows like MTV or even the American
AMAs.
Music
Yeah.
Awards. So this particular show, I actually thought that they kind of took more of a risk with it. It was a little bit more interesting. I didn't love all the performances, but there were some collaborations that I thought were pretty cool. Now I know all this whole Beyonce thing is crazy and people are saying how sexual it was. But I mean, like you said, when does Beyonce appear where she isn't kind of
Scantily clad.
thrusting her body or?
But she wasn't even
know.
grinding on, which now that I'm looking at the picture, is Jay-Z a little excited right there?
Oh, stop
Wow.
it! No.
Okay, well, you guys can go to our
that looks a little
website
excited.
and
I
look
mean,
at
I
the
don't
picture.
blame
Okay, well, it's his wife.
Right.
It is his wife. I hope he is excited.
Well, maybe
actually.
that's why he stood backwards.
Instead of letting her surfboard on him, because he's
Surfboard,
like, okay,
right.
we are performing, we ain't at home.
Oh,
Right,
that
yes.
makes me happy. Jay-Z be getting.
Well, you know what, I'm
excited
excited.
All right,
about
but wait.
that.
So
All right.
you said, I'm glad you brought up the, people singing together, yada yada and whatnot. So the hip hop world is a little upset.
Of course they are.
They're upset about two things. One, that Macklemore won Best Rap Album, Best Rap Song, Best Rap
We
Performance.
predicted it.
And
We
Best New
predicted
Artist.
it.
Right.
People are irritated about Macklemore doing that, whatever. And they're also upset that just in general, hip hop wasn't really represented. Only one rap award was featured on the show, and then the two performances that the rap artist
Weren't
got
there two?
had to be featured
With what was the collaboration?
Oh,
Yeah.
it was
With
a
Kendrick
collab.
Lamar.
with different genres.
Yeah.
So it was like
Yeah.
they didn't actually put a full hip hop act on set.
That's actually a good
Got
point.
it.
I didn't think about that, but that's a good point because there were other individual artists who did not have collaborations, so that is a good point.
So that's going on. Lord won congratulations to her. She did it. White outfits was like the thing this year. Did you guys
does
talk
anyone
There
about
was
think
white
that-
and gold that was really big.
This is
style-wise.
totally off the subject, but does anyone think that Lord is way older than what she says? I just don't
Well,
believe
yeah,
that girl is
they-
16
They make
years
fun
old.
of that because she's.
They released her birth certificate
rough.
that says she is 17 years old.
I don't know
she
if I
really
believe
had
that.
to release it.
I
right
mean,
now.
hey, they might have found one.
Um,
She looked tired. I mean, that's whatever.
some other things
She's
that
nice.
happened is
I thought her performance was weird a little bit. She jerked a little bit too much for me. I got motion sickness
Yeah, I
watching
was
Shoulda
it.
like-
Taylor. It was in the
I was like, is this an
pudding.
exorcism?
Yeah,
I
it
don't
kind of felt exorcism
She
like.
looks. She's whatever. She's
But
17.
Compared to Exorcism, Katy Perry was on stage doing Hocus Pocus, Disney's Hocus
Yeah.
Pocus,
Yeah.
live theatrical,
Horrible.
whatever.
Horrible.
But I do appreciate you brought Juicy
Juicy
J
J.
on stage.
I appreciate that, and I have not always been a Katy Perry fan because I feel like she does the two-step moves. Like I feel like I can coordinate
Which-
watching her. Like,
Totally dead
okay,
to the-
now
She's not a dancer,
turn to the
guys.
left and dip and dip and dip. Okay,
She
This
knows
was,
her
the
lane.
this was the perfect beat for her.
it
to
was
do
the
that to.
right. It was perfect, but by bringing out her
Juicy.
special guest Juicy, I'm not mad at that. So
Me either. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much what happened at the Grammys. Pharrell's hat was a big one. Everyone. loved
everybody
it.
liked his Yogi the Bear hat.
Yeah.
Had something to say about it at least.
Right. Well, On another note, Macklemore, they did their performance, and in the middle of their performance, which I had heard about this, two of my friends said that they were going to get married on the Grammys, and it's a gay couple, and I was like,
What?
that's weird. Like, is it going to be just you guys? Like, how's that going to happen?
Right.
I know they're in the industry. They do a lot of choreography for a lot of artists. So now people are saying, is gay the new black? In the sense of, at the Grammys, Macklemore performed their song Same Love, in which Queen Latifah came out and... what's that? What is she? Justice of Peace, right?
Officiated the ceremony. Right?
Ceremony,
Yeah.
and 33 different couples, same sex, different sex, got married there at the Grammys. Madonna came out, awkward.
Very awkward performance.
Madonna was just awkward in general.
And Queen Latifah has not. I don't want to start rumors,
Announced.
but she has not officially announced that.
No, she
what
has
what
not.
we think she might be as gay.
She hasn't announced it, but
Okay.
Star Magazine has.
We all
with the
already
pictures.
know.
I don't want to. I don't want to say
She
some news
supports
that is
Same
not
Love.
the truth, but she supports Same Love.
So, in reference to that, people are upset because they thought this was not the place for it. They were disgusted that the Grammys would ever allow this to happen on national television. It's mocking marriage, and a bunch of people tweeted some stuff out.
Yes, they
One of
did.
them being, this was not his dream, in reference to Martin Luther King Jr.
How you know what his dream
Right.
was?
Yeah. How do
Did
you?
you meet Maya?
Is there another transcript that he wrote that says this part should not be part of my dream?
How you
I'm-
speaking for a damn man?
Yeah. How you speaking for?
And people went on to say, gay is not the new black, and it will never be accepted.
Oh.
So obviously the gay and lesbian community, they're upset. They felt like, again, that country singer, she walked out way of the marriage ceremony. It's stirring people up. I mean, I found the article of Twitter people and I posted it on Twitter, and I got hate mail just from tweeting it out. So it's kind of crazy. I don't know. What do you guys think about this performance being?
You know what? Honestly, at
marriage
first
ceremony,
I
I keep going
didn't.
with
I was
performance.
trying to get it at first because at first I thought it was part of the performance. To be honest with you, and then I realized that it was real weddings when I saw people crying. Because I was like, man, these actors are really good. I was like, they're crying. I was like, they got some professionals up in here for the Grammys. But then I realized I was like, oh, okay, so this is real and that's deep. I mean, like I said, I appreciate that they're trying to take some risk. I don't.
They said it was too much in people's face. Like the gay, everyone's trying to shove gay down people's throat.
But there were heterosexual couples up
Yeah,
there
it
too,
was
right?
both,
It
which
wasn't
is-
just gay couples.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, okay, so they allowed them to perform the song. Everybody knows what
Same
the
love.
message of the
Right.
song is. I personally just kind of thought it was cheesy
I did
in
too.
general, but
It was
like,
kinda cheesy, but-
it communicated
Yeah.
what the song was. It was like performance art and a political statement all at the same time, which I think musicians have been doing and making for years. So to say that the
U2.
Grammys should not have allowed it, I think is insane.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna tell you the biggest thing that irritates me the most out of what you were saying, not you saying it, but what the media says, is that everything has to still go back to, is this the new black?
black.
That is, no, it's not. Okay,
It's a different-
It's a different category, and it's okay. It doesn't have to be the new black. So let's.
Because the old black is still
The old black is still struggling. So
Okay.
can we get the stroke out of the old black before we start calling
Call it
something
the
else
new
the new
black?
black?
Can it
That's
just
all I got to
be-
say on that. You know.
Okay, moving on from that, Clive Davis has come out to say that Whitney Houston will be releasing another album.
Oh wow.
He's going to be releasing Whitney Houston. Actually, this will be her first ever live album.
Yeah.
He's been going through some old footage of hers that he's said he's actually never seen of her performing in South Africa, and he was so moved by it that he feels it needs to be shared with the world. He said just to see her in such a simple, slacks and a simple sweater,
Just
and just
singing.
how powerful her voice is with hundreds of thousands of people there. He was like, it needs to be, there needs to be a time where we can remember Whitney. He said, a couple of years ago we lost her. He said, and I think when you hear this album, it'll bring you back to the sadness, but it'll really make you understand what we lost.
Oh,
So-
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. And as long as it's Whitney circa.
It is.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What
1996?
circa was that?
I'm
Yeah,
good.
that's what I want to know. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited.
Well, it doesn't exactly say what year that was, but I'm assuming it is older Whitney.
Okay.
Because he said he was going through a bunch of
If we can get like
earlier
88 to
stuff.
96, we'll be all right.
We'll be good.
We'll be okay.
If we do anything pre Bobby Brown and Whitney reality show, we'll be good.
Oh wait, you know what though? Because I didn't mind her on Divas Live, and that was what 2000.
What?
Do you remember that VH1 Divas Live with Brandy?
Yeah, with
That was
Brandy and Mary J.
earlier than
Blige.
2000. That was,
That was
in
like
the
that was like 99.
No, the first
I feel
Divas
like.
was 99, and that was
Oh.
with Celine, Gloria Estefan.
Well, then that must have just been a like spurt in the moment because 99, Whitney was already going into
She might have had a
things.
good
She was
performance that
sweating
night,
and
yeah.
doing stuff because Waiting to Exhale came out. When did Waiting to Exhale come out?
96.
97, 96, yeah.
Somewhere around 96.
Yeah.
That's when we were like, yes! And then it just went awry after that. Very
Well,
awry.
Now
Well,
you can
if it's
hold
any-
it in memory
Hold
with
it in
this
memory.
live album.
And if it's anything like her performance at the game, the baseball game,
Yeah.
and she did the what is
National
it,
Anthem.
national
Star-Spangled
anthem, Star Spangled Banner. She killed it.
Either
Like,
way, I'm going to look. Ugh.
you know,
you can, and of course, I
Need
mean,
to show these broads what to do.
what has it been? 3 years now?
as
her
Patti
death?
LaBelle said, she can't stand the word diva anymore, and she's tired of these heifers calling themselves divas.
Well, there you go.
So you guys can check that out. It'll be released this year, actually.
I can't wait.
All right, thank you, Jesse.
Yo, thank
On
you.
to the gossip and rumors with Courtney. What you got?
Gossip and rumors. Well, I guess this isn't really gossip or rumors anymore. It's the truth. Mr. Prince.
Had to do one. I had to.
Okay,
I waited for it because I knew it was going to come.
Prince
I had
is
to pause.
scary if you Google his images.
Of course he's
What do you
scary.
mean he's scary?
He looks-
I
he-
love his music,
Prince
but
is
if you
weird.
Google his images, it's kind of
He
creepy.
has some weird stuff going
I
on.
mean, don't all artists have a weird stage?
Not all artists, but
Or most.
good artists.
Like, he looks like a parakeet.
He's been through some things.
Listen, he's aging better
I
than
love
all of his other
Prince.
people.
That's true. He does look like a bird of sorts, but he is the smallest, like sexiest man somehow. Like somehow he pulls off sexiness in a way that just is amazing to be. Okay. Anyway.
Like, yeah,
Jesse's
like when I
no,
see
he look
like
like
go
a
to like the
bird.
gay clubs and
Yeah,
see
Jesse
like
was
the
giving me
drag
no love on that
queens
one.
and like that. You know what I mean? Like that kind of sexiness.
Hey, he
I
can wear
just still,
high
I feel
heels
like
and
Prince
we
is in his
accept
own
it.
category.
Yes,
You know what I
he's in
mean?
his
Like
own
we can't
thing.
even.
No, I love
I
Prince.
He's in it.
you know, he's in a league of his own.
It's all good.
And as my sister says, he has better hair than she does as far
And
as
has
it's styled.
always, okay?
Yeah,
He could
better
get
styled
them
hair
cuts
than most
done.
women. So
And that is a fresh little lineup on him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a- yeah.
Yes. Okay. So
right.
all that being said,
And now that we've clocked Prince.
right. We brought him back though. We brought him back.
all of us that are so excited about Prince, don't get too excited because y'all, if you put his stuff up on the internet, he gonna come after you for real. So
I'm scared we even put this picture
I
up.
know, right?
Right.
So Tuesday, he announced that he was suing 22 different internet users, all of whom appear to be fans. They have various Facebook fan pages and things, and basically they were massively posting Prince material, and he was like, "It ain't going down, y'all." And he filed a $22 million lawsuit. Those of y'all that aren't good
Which
at math,
is
$1 million
$1
per person. But then, as of Wednesday, he dialed it back and said, I'm gonna drop the lawsuit. But supposedly the reason that the lawsuit was dropped was because the illegal downloads and all the videos and things were no longer online. They were taken down.
Yeah.
So I can't be mad. I personally think Prince is a legend and he controls his material and he has that right. And I think it was done to scare these people to take that ish down, and they did it.
You know, I got a lot brewing over here.
I know
I'm
you're a fan,
I'm a
super
true
fan.
Prince fan, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm upset with Prince over this. Because as you stated about, I understand that he needs to take his music up and he owns everything, but his fans made him who he is. So you're taking away virtually everything. Like, I can't go online and look at an old performance of Prince's or something, you know, that's going on unless I go to his site, and it's still not going to give me everything that I want to see. So that's taken away from your fans. And I think that that's messed up. I think that's a little bit selfish,
Well, okay.
honestly, Prince.
Interesting.
Hold up. I felt the same way at first, and then I talked to Courtney about it. and
changed his mind.
Then, because I didn't know he dropped the lawsuit. So here's my thing. Because the whole Napster movement and people being sued for ridiculous... We're in a generation where kids really don't even understand that you have to purchase music. Like, I know kids watching that at the Boys and Girls Club who... iTunes, 99 cents, like, why? I get it for free. They don't understand that. So okay, these are his biggest fans, fan pages, which to me is kind of like you should be working directly with your fan pages, I would think,
Yeah.
on releasing stuff like that. Is it going to hurt him? Yes, it is, but it's his. I think, honestly, I do think it will. Because these people, look, I'm a Britney fan, but when Britney takes away from her fans, it does diminish it's like Tinkerbell. I'm not going to start clapping for you
Britney is
anymore.
still a different generation of artists, and Prince has always been super protective of his material. Like, he's always been
has.
that way.
Yeah.
And I think that those of you that are legit Prince fans, like hardcore Prince fans, are not going to stop being a Prince fan because he won't allow. Yes, it's frustrating. Like, there was a video that I was like searching for forever, and I was like, why can't I find this online anywhere? But I accept it because I love what he does, and at the same point, maybe it's easier being an artist myself and wanting to be financially compensated for the ish that I do. Like, your art, it belongs to him. He has every right to control what he wants. Maybe like videos that you're looking for are just horrible to him now, and it doesn't reflect who he has become as an artist, because he's not just a singer.
Yeah, but that's not fair to your fans,
how
because
is that not fair?
because the fan is still who made you who you are. I understand that you've elevated and you've gone on to a different place in your life, but there are fans who may have liked you during a certain time period that they are now no longer able to get that video.
It's not like he's making the music unavailable.
Yeah, but it's
to
video.
you.
But videos.
I'm
me being
siding
the
with you,
hardcore
Dario.
Prince fan.
You don't have a right to his image.
That's the
like,
thing.
You have
I agree with you 100%, Daryl. Like, I'm that way. I feel like, look, what have you really given to me? I've supported you and created your career.
Yeah.
I've been a part of that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, legally, you do own it. So I appreciate his PR team for telling him, you probably shouldn't sue your fans, because that's going to be. I think if the lawsuit went on, I think his fan base would.
Oh, it would mess with
I
you.
don't think he ever
differently.
intended for it to go on.
He's just
Really?
scaring people. I think he was just trying to scare
I
tackle.
appreciate that he took it down, because they came out to say the statement was, we understand that his fans, want more content from him, and if they do so, we wish that they would get it from us versus a third party.
And I understand that, but he is so limited with what he releases, so
That's
that's just my point.
But that's his right. Like, that's what he is
I just
creating.
disagree.
It's
He's
his
trying to
right
promote. I think it's
determine.
because he's trying to promote this new band of him, and it's like we all want the old Prince, and that his new-ish ain't really selling.
Well, yeah, but I don't think that this will help. You know, I don't think it will. The more you're out there, the more you're relevant. The more even the younger generation can go look up and see an old Prince video, and as he's being talked about. I don't think it's the right
I don't
move
think he cares
as a
about
fan.
that, though. I feel like he's
He's
in
more
his
about the artistry.
music and his artistry, and I personally think that he should be respected for that, because he is the anomaly, not the norm. And the fact that he cares so much about what he's putting out and what he's doing creatively, and wants he wants to be able to have that exchange with you directly, not you like posting some random video that you saw him at some random club, maybe not on his whatever. Like, I just feel like it's nice that somebody cares that much about what they're putting out for us to consume, because there's so much shit that's just thrown at us all the time.
And I will say he doesn't discriminate fans versus old bandmates, because apparently his old bandmates, Wendy and Lisa, who played in the Revolution with him, they got the same letter. They, in fact, posted on their Facebook the letter telling them that they couldn't post certain
not
videos as
post
well.
my
So he
stuff.
does not discriminate fans versus bandmates versus family, whatever it is.
Prince
He
is
just
a
wants
G,
his
man.
stuff down.
Damn,
Protect your
Prince.
stuff.
Protect your stuff, Prince.
Speaking of protecting your stuff, don't get close to Apollo Nida. Okay, guys. So that's a picture.
That's a picture.
Before we get into it, segue that me and Courtney host the after show on AfterBuzz TV, our
For Real
sister network.
Housewives Atlanta.
Boop, so check
Check
us
them
out
out.
and hear what we have to say about that.
And hear what we have to say about it and him and his relationship. Well, so right now, Mr. Apollo Nida has been released on bail. He's been charged. I
Is
don't
he
know why
Middle
I'm
Eastern?
laughing.
Like that picture gives
No,
me
he's
Middle
black and
he's
white.
black
Didn't
and
you
white.
see his mama
Just
on
kidding.
Real
Yeah.
Housewives looking real red? Okay, anyway. So Apollo he was arrested last week for fraud and identity theft. Basically, he was opening bank accounts, stealing people's identities, taking their retirement checks and putting them in other bank accounts, and it was totaling up to I think it was like $5 or $6 million. So there's a young woman named Gail St. Julien, who apparently was his co-conspirator, and she has been working with the feds on the down low for a few months to get Apollo, and that's how he ended up getting arrested, etc. But there was a lovely woman back in the day who wrote a little book.
Angela Stanton.
Angela Stanton. She wrote Real Housewife, Tell the Truth, Shame the Devil, which you probably can't find right now because Miss Phaedra Parks made sure that stuff is not available because she was going to sue their publisher. But basically, Miss Stanton came out and she wants everybody to know in an open letter that she put on sandrarose.com that she empathizes with the new cohort, Miss Gail St. Julien, and she basically feels like this woman should be empathized with because she's experiencing what Miss Angela herself has already experienced, being manipulated and taken advantage of in a vulnerable place by Mr. Apollo Nida and perhaps Miss Phaedra Parks. She claims that she hopes Miss Phaedra Parks has learned her lesson from the last time this went down, because y'all know Mr. Apollo Nida served 5 years in jail. So she's hoping Phaedra has learned her lesson since then, because she's claiming that Phaedra was involved with all of that mess also.
You mean the God-loving Phaedra? I can't believe.
The Christian.
The Christian? Are you serious?
Southern
Good
Belle,
Christian
No.
Southern Belle
is
woman.
Miss Phaedra
I can't
Parks.
believe that.
My prayer cloth.
I mean, my prayer cloth is that she ain't involved, but I believe ain't no way in hell she's not
Wait
involved.
till I tell you something.
Okay, Jessica got some tea on it, y'all. What you
Did you
got?
finish your story?
I'm done right now. Go. I want to know what you know.
So I've read the Angela Stanton book.
Yes.
I think, did I give it to you?
No, you never gave
All
it
right,
to
I'll
me.
give it to you.
Okay.
So it in depth talks about how Phaedra works this mastermind plan, right? So now I do believe Phaedra, it feels, hey, I'm safe. She doesn't do the dirty work anymore. And she probably, I mean, if you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, Apollo's always out doing something, his little backpack, and now I'm like, what's in that
and we
backpack?
don't ever
Right.
know what he be doing. We're
Right.
like, where do you work? What
Right.
do
Or
you
that he
do?
can drop $8,000 and
At the
As
$5,000
she
strip
said,
at
club.
the
the
strip
strippers.
club.
Yeah.
Like it's
And it's not
nothing.
Phaedra's money, but you ain't got a job.
Right.
you ain't
And
got
you
a
were fresh
job.
out of jail when you were spending that money. So,
So, rumor has it, because the bank accounts, most of them were of people who have passed on, people are speculating that Miss Phaedra, kind of interesting that she got into the,
Mortuary
mortuary
science.
science business, yes.
and that's all I'm going to say.
Y'all do with that what you please, because we don't start
Rumor
rumors up in
had
here. We
it.
just report
We
on
report
them.
the rumors.
Okay.
Or break a story.
So we'll be following that,
Yes.
and we will update you as the news permits.
Yes.
So, in conclusion this week,
That's a sin, y'all.
I wouldn't even want to answer to anybody for that one at all.
terrible,
And there's-
terrible,
yeah.
terrible. But not so terrible this week,
yes.
or maybe kind of terrible, was Mr. Vin Diesel. He was really excited, y'all, this week because he found out his movie Riddick was #1 on the DVD sales charts or what have you. And the assumption is that he was so excited he wanted to
Perform Beyonce.
perform Beyonce and share it with the world. So at 3 a.m., he posted a video of himself, which we'll take a little snippet look at right now.
Surfboard.
Surfboard, graining on that wood, graining on that wood. Surfboard, graining on that wood, graining on that wood. I'm swerving on that, swerving on that big body, been serving all this, surfing all of this good. Was warm up in the kitchen saying how the hell did this shit happen?
I love that he's actually lip syncing the words.
That was hilarious because he was lip syncing. If you watch the whole video, it was like 4 or 5 minutes long.
Because he performs Katy Perry's Dark Horse too.
Yeah, but he's lip syncing, but I don't know if it's bad editing or he really don't know the words to the song, so
Yeah,
it looks weird.
it looks weird. Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
and the dancing.
The
Is
the
dancing
dancing
struggle.
is strange.
Was that a drunken performance?
Well,
But
that's what's funny because the video is edited and put online. So even if it was oh, I'm drunk as hell, I'm so excited, and I recorded, you still took time to edit it, then post it.
Right,
So
right.
you went through some thought processes.
You did go through thought
And-
processes with that.
I mean, maybe he was just having a great time. He was obviously happy because in the beginning of the video, he talks about the DVD being #1. He thanks the fans and so glad now they'll make another Riddick or whatever it is. And yeah, so it went pretty viral and everybody was talking about it. It was all over the Twitter
very
sphere.
awkward.
And it's just very awkward.
But I do want to say I enjoyed it because it gave me hope that me and him will be together one day. Because I
Wow.
always thought he was straight.
So wait,
That
I'm
was
sorry.
that was
sorry.
hilarious.
That was Courtney and I had a late reaction
My
to that.
tea almost
So wait,
came
I'm
out.
sorry. So by him doing this video, you think that he's
He
of
swings
the
on your team?
non-straight factor?
I'm just kidding.
Okay, it's just the hope.
It's still
the
a
hope.
hope, though.
It's the hope.
It's still a hope.
I appreciate my man released this because it shows a different image of what we visually think of
Sure
Vin
does.
Diesel. Some more than others.
I mean, I wonder,
Jesse?
like, that tough guy image.
Well, I've always thought he was like the fake tough guy. Like he wasn't like for real,
Real
in person
tough,
a tough
yeah.
guy. Like he seemed like he'd be a teddy bear like in real life. But I don't really. I mean, I guess we all have moments where we're just like dancing and having a
Yeah, he
good
was a
time
little-
in our room.
Those shoulders were a little stiff.
Yeah, but like
I thought he'd have a little more rhythm.
in your bedroom, though, you be getting it in. You know what I mean? You be like, that's where you really be putting the work in. Like that.
That was a little.
He's like,
That's why I felt it was a little drunkenness towards his.
I
his
feel like he would have been more loose.
His eyes look a little small, a little
Maybe
beady.
he was high
Maybe
and
he was
nervous.
high.
Off weed. I'm not saying anything more than weed.
Interesting. I don't know. Well, either way, it was entertaining for a lot
It
of
was
people, and
entertaining.
we all laughed and had a good time. So, thanks, Vin. That was a good chuckle for the week for
That was a
all.
great
And
chuckle.
congratulations.
And
And
congratulations.
congratulations.
Yes, you are still making a lot of money.
And call me.
Thanks.
That's from Jesse.
Or you can
All
call
right.
me if that
Right.
doesn't
Either
work.
way,
Or
it
Courtney,
worked.
you-
We
you-
can be friends.
You got Team Vin Diesel across this platform right now.
Surfboard.
All right. Thank you,
Bang on
Courtney,
it.
for those gossip
Bang
and
on
rumors.
it.
Teach him some new moves.
All right.
Hey. Oh, see, yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
Granging on that wood.
moves,
Granging on that
okay.
wood.
It's
I'm
Dirty
serving
Fridays,
on
y'all.
It is Dirty
is Dirty
Fridays.
Fridays.
Jesse is real happy about
Dirty
it.
Fridays.
He got his drink and a
He's got
herb
it. Yeah,
and
that's
his
right.
water.
And his water. He's high off that
Okay.
water. All right. So.
They Rob Kardashian.
Oh, we won't.
That
That's
wasn't a
whole-
read. That was a no, man. Come on.
Okay, because I'm like, we're about to go into a whole other different
'Cause that's
subject with Rob
another
Kardashian.
thing.
Let's get
Rob,
serious.
I hope you're
All right,
okay.
we're about to seriously send this out.
Diversity.
All right, diversity. All right, so we're on to hot topics of this week. Our girl Shonda Rimes, who's the creator of
Yes.
Scandal and Grey's Anatomy, recently
she got
won
a
an award this week for diversity at the Directors Guild Awards, Directors Guild of America, excuse me, and she was happy to get the award, but she was a little upset about the meaning behind the award. And this is a little bit of what she told EW this week. When I heard I was getting a diversity award, I was truly profoundly honored, but I was also a little pissed off. We're a little pissed off because there still needs to be an award for this category. Like there's such a lack of people hiring women and minorities that when someone does it on a regular basis, they're given an award. Now, Courtney, you're an actress.
Oh my God.
What do you feel about her statement?
I loved
and
her
acceptance
statement,
speech?
and you hear it, and we talk about it all the time. But the way she articulated it was just so great. It's like, is it really that difficult to hire some women and some brown folks and some Asian folks? Like, why are we still having to honor somebody for being diverse when we are diverse people? Like. We exist in a diverse world. We exist in a diverse nation. Like, why is this even still a conversation? And it's so stupid. And it's just the most simple idea ever. Like, but we somehow have not been able to figure out how to get over that hump.
Right, but I mean, for her to get irritated about it, I don't know, really understand where she. I would love to talk to her about this because I don't understand where she's getting irritated from. I mean, yeah, okay, I understand the fact of this is dumb that we should even have this award. Yes, but the reality is look at television today, and if you're looking at TV right now, you do have to acknowledge that you are one of the only ones that does hire a diverse cast.
Right.
And this is something that we do talk about in Hollywood. And so, yes, you do get an award because by giving awards out, it creates other people to want to kind of follow the same movement. I would
See, I wonder, it's funny you say that because I wonder if the fact that there's an award for it, it makes it like a novelty special thing that doesn't have to be the norm. It's like, it's a cool thing if you do it. So you might get an award for it, but it isn't a part. And I think that's, I mean, I can't speak for her, but I would think that that's sort of where she's coming from with irritation. I don't think it's like, I'm mad because I'm getting an award.
Yeah.
I think it's like, the idea that this has to be some sort of special noted category is a shame. And maybe it's not anger. It's like, this is just a downright shame. Like, it is embarrassing that in 2014, we have not gotten to a place where it is common practice to hire every color, race, gender, whatever, as we go to reflect what's actually happening in our country. And I don't, and it's
Well,
just-
was this an award with like she was up against people, or was it they wanted to present her with?
I think she was
difference?
just.
I think they
I think
just,
she was
like,
just
nominate
presented.
somebody,
Yeah, you just
presented an award
nominated,
for
and
the
they
Directors Guild.
just for that.
Yeah, a congratulatory.
A congratulatory thing. Now,
I'm not as mad as that then, actually, because if she was like in the running and it was Shonda Rhimes versus
Yeah,
like
I don't
that's
think
weird,
that's
and
a
then we
great
start
sound.
getting to like
Yeah.
awkward
It's
categories.
just like a recognition of
Yeah.
the fact that, hey, you are doing this great
It's
thing.
like a lifetime
Yeah.
achievement award at a music show kind of.
I mean,
thing,
yeah,
you
it's
know?
sad in 2014, but I mean, congratulations that you are actually creating a movement
Yeah, and
to
hopefully it
waking
inspires
people
other
up.
people.
Yeah, because I'm on the fence about it because I can understand in the realm of her irritation of why she kind of said what she said,
Yeah.
and the fact of, yeah, it's sad to me that in 2014 we still have to have a diversity award because it is not plentiful already in Hollywood.
Right.
But on the flip side of that, I think that when you acknowledge certain things, it puts it in the mind of people. So maybe
true.
by honoring her, people might be like, oh, you know what? We do need to do this a little bit more. Because if it's not recognized at all, it could also be swept underneath the carpet and forgotten. So it's a catch-22.
And I like that she did actually do this because it's kind of like what we do here at Black Hollywood. Yes, we can continue to just be like, okay, we're not going to acknowledge it, but actually the more we keep on talking about it and throwing it into everyday discussion, it's going to start making people realize like, oh yeah, wait, I would be upset with that too. It is 2014, so
It's, yeah.
all right, Shonda.
And she did receive a standing ovation after her speech. And a couple of the other things that she did point out is that, you know, she basically said that she didn't feel that this award meant that there's still so much racism in the acting
Yeah.
world. She felt like people hire one of her
Their
statements
friends.
that people hire their friends. It's been
Exactly.
for 70 years. It was a white boys club, and now it's starting to change a little bit. But people don't take risk in Hollywood, like they don't take risks in a lot of places. So what tends to happen is you hire who you're familiar with.
and who
So that if you tend to start hiring the same type of people as you are or that you're familiar with, it's harder to transition into that diversity, which she was acknowledging. But she said that we need to switch this up.
It'll take
Step it up.
time.
It'll
and
take
we
time.
can control that to a certain degree.
Yes,
we
hopefully-
continue to consume the things like what Shonda Rhimes is doing and supporting those things. And those things make money. Money will speak to those old white boys.
Yes, hopefully this movement will change several things, and there'll be more opportunities for more African Americans in film, television, and that's why you got to write your own stuff too. So that's all a different subject. All right, on to the next topic. We have also talked about adoption in this studio before.
Yes.
Well, there's a story out right now by a person by the name of Chad Galler Sojourner, a writer and solo performer. He was a African American man who was adopted by a white family. He
cutest
recently
picture
wrote
ever.
about his experiences of growing up in a non-black household and what he felt were kind of his issues with identifying himself as an African American man, which he really truly didn't until he said he was around 25 years old. This is what he wrote, expressing there was a limit to what his white parents could provide. One of the things I think was the hardest for me is that I didn't have an independent relationship with black people, especially adult black people, till I was an adult. I was 25 before I saw a black director. While growing up, he said he realized that he was different from other people. He said when he would go into stores as well with his mother, that people would always look at him initially because he's this little black kid. I think he was grew up in Tacoma, Washington, and he was this little black kid in these department stores. And he said that he felt the need, even as a young kid, to always acknowledge his white mother because he was afraid that people. He noticed the difference that people were treating him by being a black kid walking into these department stores until they realized that his mother was white. So he said he would go around and pick out items and say, "Hey, Mom, can I buy this?" For example, she would comment back, and then he said that literally people would treat him differently because they're like, "Oh, he's with the white woman." So it raises the question, and we've talked. This goes back to kind of what we've talked about in this studio before: is do you feel with adoption that you need to be adopted by your same race?
No.
And what he's saying is that it caused him issues because he felt like he really didn't find himself until he was older because he didn't really have any black images in his life. I mean, the guy said he didn't even see a black doctor till he was older. So that's just crazy to me. So how do you guys feel about that?
I would just say that I think that adopting a child is just one of the most, I think, wonderful things you can do. And I would never want to be like, oh, no, white folks should not adopt black kids. Like, because I'd be cheering them on, praise the Lord, they're going to grow up and they're going to have some good stuff going on in their lives. So it's awesome. But I would challenge the adoptive parents, if you are adopting a child of color, like, get some black friends, like expose them to, because as on the one hand, it's kind of like, maybe it would be kind of cool to not think of yourself just as a black person, like, you know that but you don't have all that extra sort of, I would call it baggage that comes along with that growing up. But then I would imagine as a grown black man, when it actually hits you, and certain things, especially as a black man in this country, you maybe should know about or be aware of that you maybe are not aware of as much, would become a huge problem as an adult. But I would just think that the parents need to, or should think about, like, how can I expose my black child that I'm adopting to what it is to be black in this world, in this country?
And he did say that his parents would read books and try and expose them as much as they could, but there just wasn't.
You need some black friends.
It just wasn't, but like, he said it just wasn't in his environment. Like, he was in Tacoma, Washington, and I don't know how many black people are there, but I can imagine that it's an overabundance of black people. He said that after moving to New York was really the first time that he found himself and found his reflection pleasing, because when he got to New York, he was exposed to a tremendous amount of black people, diverse black people, all shades, all colors, all types of incomes, all type of jobs, you know. So he said that he was able to kind of really self-relate to who he was as a person.
I mean, I understand that, you know, at the same time, he said he didn't really find himself until 25. I think that in general, that's kind of around the age when you find yourself, and coming from a small town, you know, I think there's a whole bunch of things that were added into that, because it's actually reminding me, remember the guy we talked about here
in Canada, who's despised being black, in Toronto.
You know, it kind of brings me to both sides of that.
That's true.
Because he sounds like he was sort of developing in that self-hatred mode, like, I have to adjust, and he was devalued as a black person because his value came because of his white mother.
Right.
And to have to know that as a kid and process that, and like, that would do some damage, I would think, to your self-identity and your self-confidence. A brother maybe.
A brother and a sister. He said that.
A multicultural household.
He said he grew up in a multicultural household, but he said he was the black kid in the household. I found some interesting facts that that I thought were cool. Is that out of adoptions, 23% of black kids are actually adopted versus 37% being white. Now, after the black kids, it trickles down. 15% are Asian and 15% are Hispanic. And one thing that he also mentioned in his writing is that less than, he said that he was actually passed over by several black families as a kid because they felt he was too dark.
There you go.
So,
black folks, we sure know how to love each other.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
So, but I do think it's interesting too to see, like, especially like with the celebrity trend, like Sandra Bullock and Charlize Theron, like adopting black, specifically sons. I mean, I'm not saying that it's gonna be that much different for a daughter, but I think black men in this country have a challenge in a way that almost no other person, color, whatever have.
Yeah.
And and because celebrities sort of trend, and I don't want to say adoption will be a trend, but I mean,
but it kind of is.
It kind of could be, and it'll be the in thing to do, to like get African babies because it's easier and they're cheaper, that kind of thing. So I'd be curious how these people are, because I wondered that myself. Like, I'm excited that this adorable black boy is going to be raised by Charlize Theron. He'll probably have an amazing life. But what they're actually doing to sort of expose them to who they are in this world, because they still will eventually function outside of who their mother is or who their dad is and whatever. So
I think it's also where you're being raised.
Where you're being raised, yeah, and the transracial adoption, I think there's so many kids that need to be adopted. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, because you're black, you need to
should only be able to go to a black family. Because obviously the black folks will pass you up too.
Clearly, prejudice among that. So who knew?
Well, it's interesting. Asian is bigger than Hispanic.
Well, they're even.
Oh no,
it's even. They're it's like 15%.
I'm surprised actually by that statistic at all, because is that just adopted in the States?
That's adopted in the States.
Because I was going to say,
yes, that's not overseas.
There's a huge percentage of adoptions that are overseas crazy. And Asian is
Yeah,
like
that's big. Yes.
huge.
Yeah,
Like in
that's
fact,
just
I'm
in the
fairly
States.
certain it's bigger than any other.
I would probably assume
group.
that would be the case.
That would
Yes,
be my
that
assumption.
statistic I gave was only for the States.
Okay.
So yeah, so hopefully, if he's happy now and in a
found
good place, he
himself?
found himself, and New
Praise the
York will
Lord.
do that. New York will do that. All right. Also this week we had Obama, who delivered his State of Union address. And there were some mixed opinions about some of the things that he had to discussed. But his hot topics off of his address were doing away with workplace policies that belong to
A Mad Men
he
episode.
associated with Mad Men TV. He said women should receive equal pay. He said job training needs to be changed, gun control, more money for research and development, immigration reform, inequality, and healthcare were the topics that were the biggies for this. We have a little clip that we're going to show from his actual State of the Union address this week.
To lose everything. Already, because of the Affordable Care Act, more than 3 million Americans under age 26 have gained coverage under their parents' plan. More than 9 million Americans have signed up for private health insurance or Medicaid coverage. 9 million. And here's another number, 0.
John Boehner is like,
Because of this law, no American, none, 0, can ever again be dropped or denied coverage for a pre-existing condition like asthma or back pain or cancer.
I love that. Joe Biden.
Joe
So that was a
Biden,
little
John
snippet of
Boehner.
him talking about healthcare and some of the issues. Now, after that, he also had ordered for several things to take place, including an increase in minimum wage, retirement savings, host a summit on working families to highlight policies that can help families, review of the federal job training system, incorporate unemployed Americans back to work, encourage construction of factories that rely on gas, and also expand early childhood education. Those are the things that he really wants to concentrate on. Now, I watched the speech. I'm always going to root for Obama, and I'm going to start off there. Now, I thought that some of the things that he wants to implement are great things. It's just a matter on, this is his, obviously the end, going towards the end of his term. How many things can he really get done? And will Congress support him are my biggest questions for some of these tasks.
no, Congress will not support him. It's an
I
election
mean, as you
year.
can see,
John
homie in the
Boehner
back.
was so
Homie in the
excited
back,
about
yes.
that. I don't know. I mean, it was a nice speech.
It just reminds me of like high school, like voting for, who's the president of your class. Like, I'm going to get you guys free lunches, ABC. And it sounds awesome.
It sounds great. But
Just
So
wanna
you don't.
see.
So you're saying that you don't think that he's going to be able to do half these things?
I think that he will have a meeting with he's actually, I think they're having it today with Bank of America and Target about the long-term unemployed and trying to talk about how we can get some policies in place where you're not overlooking people who have been unemployed for years. It's nice. I think it's a lot of talking and things, and I think he'll try to do what he can. I mean, the whole immigration thing, it's not going to happen this year because the Republicans want to keep their seats in Congress, and they don't, unless he agrees that, I think the proposition right now is that they will put together some kind of plan to give some kind of legal status, but not necessarily actual paths to citizenship.
Yeah.
And so maybe that'll go through. More than likely, they seem like they're not interested in really doing much of anything. Regardless. So, I mean, I think it's great points. I think it's wonderful. He wants to close Gitmo again. He's been saying that since he started in 2008. I don't think it's going to close personally, but that's just my opinion. I think he's just in a place where it's kind of like it's over now.
Do you think it's like autopilot at this point?
It's like, do what you can, sign some executive orders and see what you can get out of it. But Congress working with him, I think, is not going to happen because they can barely work with each other. Like, I don't have a very optimistic outlook on our governing bodies right now in terms of what they're capable of accomplishing. But perhaps that will be why they surprise us.
Well, I'm hoping that out of those, we'll say those 10 items that I listed, that if we could get 5 of them really done.
I mean, like what? Because like the minimum wage thing, he can sign that for federal contractors, but they're not going to institute that in Congress for the entire country. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I think we definitely need to work on this retirement savings system.
It just
I'm just scared
theoretically,
where it's gonna go. If you honestly, like, as much as I would love for minimum wage to go up, I'm just scared as to where that is gonna take us. Because okay, you bring everybody up to $10,
then
now
it's gonna be
McDonald's. You paying $25 for a Happy Meal, you know, and then we become a place where, well, you can't afford it. You know, yeah, now I can pay to finally live in my apartment and not be stressed out.
Right.
But now I'm still living on food stamps.
Eat.
Yeah, you know, and
Right.
it becomes, well, oh, you got to eat McDonald's this week? Like, what kind, you know, I don't
Well, some have criticized and said that his speech was very similar to his previous State of the Union
Yes,
address.
it was
And pretty much
very.
the same topics and how much movement has happened. Now, we obviously know with healthcare that has been his gold nugget. And so I'm in hopes that other things will also kind of trickle as he is in the last portion of his term. Now, 33.3 million viewers tuned in. They said it was just a little bit difference between his State of the Union last year, which was 33.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now, according to Nielsen, this is the lowest viewership for a State of the Union address since Bill Clinton in 2000.
Well, because nobody
think we're
cares or thinks
tired.
anything's possible anymore because
Yeah.
they've shown that they have no interest whatsoever in doing anything effective or whatever. And I'm not trying to because I understand that there are some people that work in government that really they do it because they really want things to happen and they really want to affect change. But the bottom line is that we're not run by our government.
Right. No, we're
And
not.
until we accept
Until-
that,
yeah.
that
There's-
cash
yeah.
dollars is running
There's
our
void.
government,
Yeah.
we're not gonna, if nobody's gonna accept that and admit to it and embrace it and work through it and around it instead of letting it control everything, we're not gonna go anywhere. We're going in the same path we were going 6 years ago when he got elected.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but Jesse, you're right as far as even back to minimum wage, because either the meals, everything will be increased, so it's going to screw the consumer. Just kind of like, I hate to say it, but a little bit like the healthcare, because now, like, even my health insurance has gone up because of this Obamacare.
I will defend health care for one reason. I am in that small 1% of people that had individual health care that he promised everybody could keep their doctors and keep their health care plans, but there was like a 1 to 2% of the population that directly was affected and was not, could not keep my stuff, had to find a whole new one. They sent me a letter. It was twice the amount unless I figured out how to get through Obamacare and all of that stuff. And I will say that just because I have a history in dealing with healthcare since high school and leadership program when Hillary was trying to figure out what to do with healthcare and try to make a change of it, I will say that healthcare, the fact that he got it going as it is a huge accomplishment. And I would encourage us to look past the money situation right now and come with more ideas to better it.
I agree.
Instead of shitting on it. Excuse my language.
That's how, and listen, that's how we're going to end the show.
Instead of shitting on it.
Instead of shitting on it.
Come
no.
up with some more options
Right.
to continue to make it better, because as Jesse was saying, we're scared of where this is going to go. If we just keep letting people get dropped from their healthcare insurance because they got cancer and we're literally survival of the fittest, you can't afford it, peace out, die.
Yeah.
And that's not cool.
That's not
really
America.
cool.
That is not America. But yeah, the conversation could go on and on and
on
on.
and on
Please
forever.
tweet us. Let us know your thoughts, too, on his State of the Union address and some of our other topics that we discussed today. Courtney, where can your fans find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stuart Starlet.
Jesse?
At DJ Jesse J.
You can find me at Dario Kristen on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I also want to remind everyone to go vote for the BuzzMeter question today, which is, did you watch the State of the Union? We gave a opinion of what we thought about it. We want to hear what you guys have to say. It is a yes or no answer, but like I said, tweet us your responses
Any details you want.
or anything you felt about the State of the Union. I also want to remind everyone to go to iTunes, give us a rating and comment. We do appreciate it. Look at our listing of different shows, and we will pay attention to that and improve our shows. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to this week, and we will see you again soon.
Peace.
Undergarland, Phil Sweetek, Dario Kristen, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network. If you have questions or comments, tweet us at BHL Online or email us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. For more exclusive content, visit blackhollywoodlive.com. This has been a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.